of the top complaints in the VR industry is there is still not enough AAA VR games. So when a job listing goes up from a VR game company saying they're launching pre-production on a high-profile multi-platform AAA VR game based on a globally recognized franchise, that's some pretty big news. And this is from a very trusted VR game company, Vertigo Games. The listing also goes on to say that they will utilize Unreal Engine and they want someone with proven experience in level design through the full development cycle of console and PC action-adventure games. Vertigo has already delivered games like Arizona Sunshine, recently The Seventh Guest VR, Fisherman's Tale, and other highly acclaimed VR games. Unfortunately, that's all the information really that can be gleaned from the listing, but it's exciting to hear that another AAA game is coming, especially on a globally recognized franchise. Any guesses out there, drop them in the comments. In case you missed yesterday's big announcement, Pavlov Shack is coming out of beta on the Quest 2 and 3. This is a really big deal as this game has been free for years in beta and will now be coming out at $19.99. Thanks to them for sponsoring this video and a giveaway. They're actually giving away a new ProTube Mag Stock VR gun stock. I'll leave a link in the description in the top comments in case you want to get entered in that giveaway to try and win one of the new Pavlov Edition ProTube gun stocks. But this news is a pretty big deal as a lot of people have played Pavlov a ton already in its earliest forms and we're used to not paying for it. There is a pre-order discount that brings that $19.99 down to $14.99. You also get some gun cosmetics, some of which are never going to be available again, showing that you were one of the people who pre-ordered this. But the game is finally getting its full release here at the end of 2023 when the studio started back in 2019. I'd love to know all of your thoughts out there about this. How do you feel seeing this thing finally get a price? This is the top VR shooter pretty much on any platform, but especially on Quest. Do you think it's about time they finally added a price? All these people have been playing it free. Were you hoping that maybe they'd keep it free to play, but add paid cosmetics and other ways to monetize the game? And if you have been playing it, are you going to pay that price to continue playing it? I'd love to know in the comments. Echo VR may be making a comeback, but not an official one, unfortunately, on the Oculus Store. An unofficial PC mod is bringing back multiplayer to the game on PC. This mod is available over on GitHub, but it officially calls out that this is for education and research purposes only, and its aim is not to enable unofficial matches for the public. Most likely this jargon just being there to help avoid any legal trouble. If you've been around in VR a while, you know that Echo VR, especially on Quest, was one of the biggest VR esports style games, and when Meta decided to shut it down because they said it was only getting tens of thousands of players anymore, a lot of people were really unhappy with petitions going out trying to save Echo VR. Even some people putting an aerial ad that planes wrote in the sky over Meta's headquarters saying not to kill off the game. At this time, there's no news of an official mod that would make this possible on Quest, but only on PC for now. But what do you think? Is this worth getting your setup back out playing on PC again just to re-experience this game? We've seen a lot of improvements of hand tracking over the last year, but is it ready to have a boxing game utilize it? Creed Rise to Glory thinks so, and they're dropping an update with experimental hand tracking that allows you to play the game still throwing punches, blocking, and navigating using their natural hand movements. If you haven't played much Creed before, you can actually run by moving your hands up and down, and that will move you in the direction that you're facing. With this update, they also added Tommy the machine gun, which is the main adversary from 1990s Rocky V, more enhanced fitness features to help this be a bit more of a fitness style game too. You can set personal calorie goals, and says it even has an improved calorie tracking algorithm for more accurate results. The updates will be rolling out this week on Meta Quest and PSVR 2 and on Steam as well. It'll be interesting to see how well the hand tracking works for this. If you've gotten to try it, let me know in the comments how it was for you. An interesting side effect of Quest 3 games coming out and getting updates, some Quest 2 games are also getting graphical upgrades as they upgrade them for the Quest 3 also. We covered before how even in the Last of Life on the Quest 2, they were still unlocking more performance by upping the clocking on the CPU. And this week, Floor Plan 2 is another one that's adding visual enhancements for both Quest 2 and Quest 3 users in a new graphics update. You can see in the video here where even with its cartoony graphics style, the 4K textures and the improved materials are really upping the look of the game Floor Plan 2. But of course, if you are playing on the Quest 3, that's going to be the best way to play. Now running at a 90 Hz refresh rate, it's targeting a very high resolution 2528 by 2639 resolution per eye. That's a 90% increase. If you had this game already and you checked it out on Quest 2, but you've got a Quest 3 now, it might be worth going back and looking to see how much better this looks. Whether you like Horizon Worlds or not, whether it's even available in your region or not, it is slowly being integrated into the Quest system user face. Many people noticed this back when we started using our actual Meta avatars in the home environments. And then recently in the Quest V57 update, Meta renamed Explore to Horizon Feed. And the feed shows shows off Horizon World's destinations in it now too. We're seeing further integrations now, where there used to be the separate text chat systems, more of the old Oculus style chat in the main menus, and then of course Horizon's own chat system. Now you're only seeing the Horizon system even in the main Quest interface. Those are also the same chats that if you open it up on your MetaQuest phone app and you're chatting with friends on there, you're gonna see the same interface again. The next step to this, actually we kind of saw a little bit at MetaConnect, where when you were in your home environment picking out augments to leave around your home, there was another tab called Worlds with the Horizon logo. This would mean that instead of going into Horizon Worlds like you do now and then navigating to different games to play inside of it, those games could just show up in your home environment as somewhere to just jump directly into, not even reminding you that you are then in Horizon Worlds playing that game. It's all steps that make sense to me as they're trying to push this whole metaverse, Horizon Worlds more and more, but as someone who has never really loved Horizon Worlds when I've been in it, it just feels like it's going to be another step that I skip past to get to the games I'm trying to play. But people are saying some of these new Horizon World games are really good and worth checking out. So that's why I ask you, what do you think? Would it really be that different for your home environment to be somewhere in Horizon Worlds and then you still pull up your menu and open your game, versus now having to open Horizon Worlds separately if you wanted to? I've gotten so used to the pass-through home environment now that I'm not even in home environments anymore. So it seems like that would be really odd to then be pushed into some sort of Horizon home environment or augments. But for now, when I get my headset on, I'm just trying to get into a game as quick as I can. Sniper Elite came out in VR and was an absolutely awesome experience. I personally enjoyed it the most on the PSVR with the aim controller. Even with the less good graphics, the immersion of that aim controller was awesome. Now we're going to see another Sniper Elite game coming to VR, but as a MetaQuest exclusive. Sniper Elite Winter Warrior, another game that puts you back in World War II hunting down Nazis, this time with additional game modes outside of the story-driven campaign, a game that pits you against Nazi snipers called Sniper Hunt, and Last Stand, a survival mode where you just try and defend against waves of enemies. Exclusive titles are not something that are totally unusual to us in VR, and oftentimes they are timed at least, so this may only be a 6-month on Quest before it reaches other platforms. But how do you feel about this coming out first and only on Quest? It's going to be releasing on November 30th and priced only at $15, which of course makes us all kind of wonder about the actual campaign length in it. I personally really enjoyed the last Sniper Elite though, so I'll be checking this one out too. A lot of people were really looking forward to Power Wash Simulator, which finally launched this last week on Quest, to some mixed reviews. Upload VR even giving it a 3 out of 5 star, and currently it's sitting at just above a 4 star on the MetaQuest store. Some people saying it's perfect, it's exactly the game they were hoping it would be. Other people complaining about jitteriness, issues with motion sickness while playing. I personally got in, checked it out a little bit myself. I will say it comes kind of with all the jank I expected from the Power Wash series itself. The motion is a little rough if you try to switch it to smooth, and if you try to switch to smooth turning. I would recommend, at least for now until there's some updates, play this with teleport or move around your real actual physical space as you play. And of course, as someone who's really only done a lot of power washing in real life and not much in VR yet, there are things about it that obviously don't feel right. You don't really have to work your way from top to bottom. You don't get to see the dirt running off. It just kind of disappears as you're pressure washing it. But it's definitely relaxing and the experience I expected it to be standalone on Quest. I also haven't personally heard if it's been updated for Quest 3, as some people were complaining about the graphics, especially on the Quest 3. And getting into it, it looks fine. It's definitely cartoony graphics, but it does look like if there was a Quest 3 update that would add more reflections, it could probably look a lot better. If you spent the $25 on it, how are you feeling? Was it worth it? A lot going on out there with all these games, everything we got to talk about. Other games came out this last week I still haven't had a chance to try, like Vampire the Masquerade, but I'm looking forward to that one. What are you looking forward to? Let me know in the comments, but thank you so much, and I will see you in another reality.